guys, we are live. Hello and welcome to the show. We're live on 16 out of 17 channels. Everything looks good for now, but that can change at the drop of a hat with this total horrible connection that I have. But let me just see. We're going in at 500. Let's take it down to 400. Okay, let's just do that. Hey Debbie. Hey Enoch. What's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you both. I was just watching a 1999 video from the drummer from the Branch Davidians, David Koresh, in the Waco, one of the survivors. I was listening to his first-hand account of David Koresh and what it was like there and what the raid was like. And boy, oh boy, when they did that Netflix special, they must have got his account, because it's like watching that movie, man. His account, it's pretty dead on to that movie. You know, I think they used him for a lot of their source material. Yeah, it's wild. What's even wilder, when you watch the 1999 recount, I mean, you watch this man speaking in a bookstore, at a book signing, you realize that all the things that you hear all the podcasters talking about today about how corrupt the government is, this guy already knew. And he was warning us way back in 99, you know, what is that, 40 years ago? No, 20 years ago? What year is this? 2021? 21 years ago, something like that? 22 years ago? He was warning us. And he said, the government is so corrupt and there's no recourse. People don't care, because most people just stick to the narrative of what the government's telling them. And nobody cared about us, and nobody wanted to come forward, and everybody wanted to bash us and say that we were crazy Christians and that we were crazy cultists and all that. He says we weren't. He says we were just doing Bible studies, man. This guy, David Koresh, had a different spin, what he thought his take on the Bible was, and everybody believed him that heard him speak. And he just had command over the Bible that no one else had. So he had a lot of people. Man, when you listen to this guy's story, you're just like, man, that is so fucked up. What the FBI did to them, what the ATF did to them. My phone? Yeah, it's right here. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Turn it off. Forgot to turn my phone off. Hey, realist. Some fucking engineer thinks my phone should vibrate when I turn it off. Was a sick cultist manipulator? Right, that's what you were taught. Enoch, that's what you were taught. He wasn't as bad as you think. You got to go listen to this guy speak. David Koresh was not the monster that he was painted to be. No, he didn't think he was Jesus, man. These guys are all subscribing to what the fucking... You guys are a bunch of FBI fucking narrative totes, you know that? You guys are carrying water for the FBI. You realize that? Go listen to this guy, all right, before you go shooting your mouth off in here to tell me what kind of a person David Koresh was. This guy knew David Koresh better than anybody. David Koresh recruited him. So go listen to this guy before you start shooting your mouth off, acting like you think you know who David Koresh was. You don't. Trust me, you don't. They weren't fair to him. When they painted a picture of him, you need to listen to this guy speak. You know? My cat wants to come in the house now. You want to come in the house now? You sure? Now that I started the show? All right, hold on. Look. Since none of you are going to engage me in conversation, and I don't know why, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to let you see what I just saw, okay? You guys can hear it from the drummer himself. If you guys, any of you guys saw the Netflix, Koresh, or what was it called? Was it called Koresh or was it called Waco? Did you guys see Waco on Netflix? Hold on. I'm going to get you in a second. I want to get this video started. I know. Hold on. All right. You guys are not paying attention to me. So I'm going to take it back this is about 38 minutes into the video. Sounds pretty desolate.
Can't make us out to be the racist that they would have liked to have made us out to, Ben. And some of the reports came out that there was racial issues and tensions going on, which was not true. I'll give you an example, and this is one of the things that occurred, and this is why David was so misunderstood, and people like Mark Bro really fought. But he had a study one day, and he says,
Chris, you say you read about all of it? Yeah. Who is the author, Chris? Did you read his book?
I hate black people.
What really happened?
And I was raised pretty liberal. I was pretty shocked. And everyone was quiet. He goes, I hate yellow people. And I hate white people. He goes, we here are people of light. And we are people that want to understand the truth. And that's what I relate to. I want people of light.
Wow, who does that sound like? We just want the truth. Who does that sound like to y'all? We're just about the truth, aren't we? That's all I ever talk about in here, facts and the truth. Now, granted, he believed in a man in the sky, and so did all of them. But, I'm always willing to forgive people for that indiscretion because they've been indoctrinated. And, you can't blame people for indoctrination. It's right. Sounds like me, right? Hey, man, just want the truth, right? Unfortunately, they were basing their truth on a book of lies. That was their problem. But, hey, feel pity for them. They were lied to since they were babies. All of them. Their mommies and their daddies told them that Jesus Christ died on the cross for their sins and Santa Claus came down the chimney and left them their presents. They were all indoctrinated, man. And, it's hard to walk away from that. It's hard to walk away from Christianity or any religion,
Around me. No colors. Nothing to limit you. And he would always do stuff like that to provoke you and make you think. And then there was always...
Wow, David Koresh was always provoking and making people think. Who does that sound like? Huh, kind of sounds like me, doesn't it? And I do it just because I love you guys. I can be mean and rude and I can yell and scream. But it's for an ultimate goal is to improve your lives. It's not for me. It's not for me. If I'd stop yelling and screaming, I'd be more popular on the internet. There'd be more people watching the show right now.
A wisdom behind it. And that's one of the things that impressed upon me. Well, I'm going to wrap it up to April 19th so we can start taking questions. Several things did occur. And
just wait till his wife comes on later. Morgan Fairchild, who he has sex with frequently. We'll see if any of you guys get that joke.
People know I was
Cheers.
reading a lot of material today. And one of the things that I read was by a gentleman who has a very interesting website, and he did some articles. And you have to understand that when you're in a building and they're starting to play interviews from people that hate you and want nothing to do with you and think you're strange and think you're wacko and think that basically you're unworthy of life, you start to realize that there's no allies out there. It's us against the world.
There's no allies out there. Understand. Nobody cares. They don't care about him. They don't care about David Koresh. They don't care about the Branch Davidians. They don't care about Jimmy Dore when Jimmy Dore goes out and says, hey, man, I did not commit, sexual assault against, Anna Kasparian. They don't care about anybody. The sheep are gonna sheep. And when you've got Enoch, you don't know the whole story, bro. You think you do, but you're not. Enoch, where are you getting your story from? Where are you getting your information from, bro? Why don't you tell me? You act like you're saying he was keeping them hostage, and that's just patently not true. You know, so you're lying there. Number one, you just fucking lied to me. Okay. And didn't want to let them go. That's not true either. He said, anybody wants to leave, you can leave anytime you want. And that's what David Koresh always told everybody. I don't know where you get this information from. They died because of him. No, they didn't. They were all able to make their own decisions for themselves. And you can't deny that their lives were in his hands. That was their choice, man. People, if you're going to trust me with your life, bro, and you're going to put my triage oil on your skin and it goes rancid and it infects you and poisons you, doesn't look like I was that great, does it? You know, some people make mistakes, bro. Some people make bad decisions. Some people do stupid shit. Some people start cults. You know, some people preach the fucking gospel. Some people tell people not to wear masks and that COVID isn't anything to worry about, and then they drop dead 3 weeks later from fucking COVID. You know, Christianity has, and religion has all kinds of fucking crazy, bro. That's for goddamn sure. But the one thing I'm saying is almost everything you just said, Enoch, is just a lie. You have no idea what you're talking about. And go ahead and why don't you give me your source, Enoch, since you think you know all about this. Why don't you tell me where you're getting your information from? I'm literally hearing it from a guy that was in Waco when the goddamn FBI attacked them. He was in the fucking building. So I'll take his word over yours, Enoch. I think he knows David Koresh better than you do. The fucking news? Right. You heard it on the fucking news. This is what he's saying, bro. It's like I'm talking to a fucking brick wall, bro. You're not even listening to me. My whole point is the FBI and the narrative, they fucking lied. He's going to explain it, man. Shut your fat fucking mouth for a second and listen, Enoch. All right, listen.
Not us against the FBI. It's just against the world hates us now.
I mean, does he seem mad that David Koresh was holding him hostage while the FBI was burning the building down? Does this guy seem mad? He's literally on here defending David Koresh in 1999.
Everything we got to talk to us, and yet they just soon have us wiped out. I mean, we were hearing this on the speaker system.
You know, you don't understand. This is 40 minutes in. He just spent the last 35 minutes talking about David Koresh and what it was like living in there, what the people were like, and all that. And let me just tell you, it was really peaceful and it was really nice. They had a good thing going there. And you know, we've got places like that around here where I live too. People studying religion, their own sects, and you know, they're cults. Absolutely, they all live there on the property. They don't have any money or anything like that. But you know what? They're all fucking happy. And it's just like I said, it doesn't matter if somebody's sitting on a podcast banging garbage can lids together, as long as there's a million people sitting there not out on the street burning to death in this fucking heat, you know, dying from heat stroke. Those people that are banging the garbage can lids together are fucking heroes. You know, it's the exact same thing. If people want to listen to what David Koresh was preaching, then I support him, man, even if it's lies, even if he doesn't believe it himself. It doesn't fucking matter. People are there, and he was saving their lives until the FBI came in there and murdered them all. It wasn't David Koresh that murdered those people. It was your lovely federal government, Enoch. That's who murdered those people. Don't fucking blame it on the man that was taking care of all the... He was feeding them. He was housing them. He was educating them. He was entertaining them. He was enlightening them. As far as they were all concerned, they were content. They'd still be there today if it weren't for your stupid fucking federal government, Enoch, that you're sitting here literally defending while you're talking to me, bro. You're defending the goddamn federal government. Really. You have no idea what you're talking about, bro.
And you start to say...
That's why I'm playing you this video.
People want to say that Koresh was guilty of self-fulfilling his prophecy. I think that during the course of that 51 days...
A siege.
The number of lies that came out...
On their home.
That the FBI, if there was a guidebook they could follow of what not to do in the situation, That's the guidebook they chose to listen to. They didn't listen to their psychologist.
Picked up a Z, a black diamond. I have Nay on the 55. I'm loving life. Definitely making me feel a lot better. All right, Tabitha.
Don't increase the tension, but alleviate the tension. You know, they didn't listen to the human side of it. There's a picture in Waco, the rules of engagement. And
listen, Enoch, they didn't listen to the human side of it, just like you're guilty of, bro. He's literally calling Enoch out right now as we speak. Listen, Enoch, listen to what he's saying. He's talking to you.
There's this infrared video. But even before that, they have scenes where they're talking to the negotiators. And we sent them out a tape. I mean, everyone during the siege told their story on a videotape, and we sent it out so people would relate and say, you know, these are people here that are religious people. They're studying this book, and they have a right to do that.
And they all were there under their own volition. They made a videotape of all of them talking about how wonderful it was in there and to leave them the fuck alone. That they were fucking fine.
You know, no, they may be guilty of crimes, but they're just so demonized that
Listen.
when we sent them this tape of all the people, and I did a little interview, the FBI chose to suppress that from the public, and it came out in the congressional hearings. The congressional hearings, they asked about this tape, and the FBI literally said, we felt that if we were to release this tape to the public, it would create much support and sympathy for the Branch Davidians. Oh, what? You mean it might humanize us? You know, it might take away from your demonization? You know, I mean, I give talks and people say, Mr. Thibodeau, you've done a great job at hiding your horns and your cloven hooves. You know, I mean, from the perception I got from the press, it's what I expected when you came here. I said, before I move on, there's a quote that I thought was very profound, and it's exactly what has happened. It follows precisely what took place. Senator Henry Clay said this in the 1800s. He said, the devices of power and its minions are the same in all countries and in all ages. It marks its victim and denounces it, exciting the public hatred so it can conceal its own abuses and encroachments.
Right, Enoch? And you are part of that public hatred, man. You're one of the fucking sheep that believed the narrative. Bro, you're sitting here, Enoch, you're literally sitting here talking like you're speaking about facts. Because you heard it on the news. Because the news reported what the FBI told them. You think the news was there covering it live? They weren't, bro. You know, they wouldn't let anybody inside. They wouldn't even take the tape that they sent out and play it for people. Yo, Anthony Suarez, what do you mean talk about Cuba, bro? Are you paying attention to what we're talking about, bro? We're talking about fucking Waco, Texas. Do you hear me having a conversation with fucking 16 other people, bro? When you come in here and say, talk about Cuba, bro? What do you mean talk about Cuba? What do you want me to say about Cuba while we're talking about the Branch Davidians in Texas, Anthony? Are you deaf, or are you narcissistic? Or are you just a fucking douchebag? I'm kind of curious. Which is it, Anthony? Let me know. I'm betting on fucking douchebag. You need to understand, these people fucking loved him. These people loved their leader. They fucking loved him. They didn't question him. They loved him. And anything he said, they just believed it was because he proved it to them, because he was proving things in the Bible supposedly to them that nobody else could do. And, you know, he was just really good at controlling the narrative and making it seem Yeah, Anthony, I couldn't give a fuck about Cuba. I don't give a fuck. I'm not talking about that shit right now. I'm talking about something totally different. I mean, come on, Cuba Wednesday, bro. All right? This is Texas Monday. Should be Texas Tuesday, shouldn't it? A day early. This is Hey, 420. It's Texas Tuesday, a day early. Yeah, you know, we like to talk about Texas on Tuesdays. Like to tune in to Nays Garden and possibly check out if he's doing a bong rip or dabs. And today it looks like he's reaching for the bong. Over here at InfoWars and, of course, PrisonPlanet.com, you can get all the finest dabbing utensils that you will find anywhere on the planet. Also at naysgarden.com. You're going to want to check that out, too. You know, first thing I always do when I go into anybody's podcast, ever, the first thing I do is I say hello in the chat. I just say hi so people know I'm there. And I listen to what the podcaster is saying. And then I reflect on it for a little bit. I listen. I see where the conversation is going. And I usually enjoy it. And 9 times out of 10, I don't even say anything. I just listen and enjoy it. But, you know, every once in a while, I'll make a comment about what the podcaster is discussing. Look, Anthony Suarez, I'm going to go ahead and block you from my live stream. Nobody fucking cares about Cuba, you douchebag. Fuck off. My God, what a random, crazy-ass thing to happen in my live stream. Holy shit. What a narcissistic cunt. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking prick. You want to go outside, bees? All right, it's hot. 91 degrees. Go, bees. Go on. Good boy. He's like, don't rush me. All right, happy 420, everybody. Remember your very first bong hit? Yeah, realist ones, I'm going to block you too. Shut the fuck up. What are you, fucking 8 years old? You're blocked on YouTube. Fuck off. Fuck off. What are you trying to are you trying to lick my ass, dude? You trying to brown nose me? Fuck off, dude. Once again, guys, we're talking about Waco, Texas. We're talking about the Branch Davidians and David Koresh and his cult of Christians. If you guys have a problem with that subject matter, go fuck off. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care if you saw some old video from me fucking 8 years ago. Yeah, you don't need to be on my live stream acting like a 4-year-old that's trying to suck my dick. Fuck off. Cheers to the rest of the adults in the room. Jesus fucking Christ, talk about a little fan bitch, huh? Oh my God. You know, I ignored you the first time you said it because it was stupid the first time you said it. And the second time you said it, I blocked you and called you a cunt because it was still stupid. Remember that one time at band camp that you were sucking your own dick? What are you, a memberberry, motherfucker? More like a dingleberry. Cheers, Enoch. Warren Hauser. My warehouse money hasn't come in yet, Warren Hauser. Give me a second about that warehouse money. Give me 1 second. I want to check on that warehouse money, as a matter of fact. Cryptos are doing actually really good. My cryptos are. Douchebags. To fucking log into my phone, right? Engineer. Alright. What is today? The 12th? Might be a little early. Yeah, today's the 12th. We'll see. We'll see what comes in. Yo, what's up, Nay? How you doing? I'm doing good, Dom. How are you? Oh, shit. Look at all these emails that just came in. No, I don't have a notice. I'll check my bank account here. I don't think anything's come in yet. I might have to wait another day or two. But whoever was asking how I did on my warehouse, last month I did, I think $32,000 for the month, since you're wondering. Did you make that all year last year, buddy? Let me know. Asking for a friend. Oh. And take a puff with me. Danimal D86. D86. Okay. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it comes in. How's that? Watch, the phone's going to vibrate one time because I turned it off. Fucking stupid. For an illegal grow in a warehouse? Hey, Warren, why don't you check out the warehouse yourself, buddy? You go tell me if it's an illegal grow in a warehouse. It's a legitimate business, and anybody can look it up and look into it, bro. I make more money than your whole fucking bloodline put together. Your pathetic little bloodline. Your whole fucking, all your ancestors, dude. I make more money than your whole fucking family. All your aunts and uncles and your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, mom and dad, everybody. Grandparents, I make more money by myself than your whole fucking bloodline, dude. You know? And your little poor ass comes in here. And your little poor ass comes in here with your little dick. And you think you're going to fucking be able to top me and ask me how I'm doing financially, motherfucker? I don't know. Last time I checked, bro, I was a millionaire. I'm just saying. How's that feel? I'm a millionaire. What are you? Right. You're nothing. Fuck off. George Williams? Oh, is that you, George, that said that? What was your name that I fucking blocked your fucking little mouthy ass? The realest one? Okay, George Williams. Hold on a second. Psst. Fucking George Williams. George Williams, the realest one. What a short little block list. Tiny little block list. Kai, you are comfortable and retired. Many people would love to live your life. Yeah, some people are jealous just because I block them from the live stream. So they come in here and they whip their little dicks out. And then I gotta flop my big fat cock on the table, and they piss off. It shuts them up quick. It's so I can get on with my day, you know? And, hey, you want to see my fucking credit score? How about that? I bet you my credit score is better than your entire family's averaged out. I bet you my credit score beats your whole fucking bloodline, motherfucker. How much you want to bet? I'll bet you $10,000. Oh, that's right. You don't have $10,000, do you, you poor little bitch? And, hey, man, for those of you out there who don't have $10,000 to throw down on a bet right now, I want you to know, I'm not talking to y'all because y'all didn't come in here acting like a little troll cunt like the other one did. So just know I'm not addressing y'all. Don't take it personally. Cheers, guys. George, it seemed like you were trying to be a little fucking fanboy. Hey, Nay, how about that time you did your first bong hit in the fist bong, and it was the first bong hit ever, and you called that girl, right, George? Don't be that guy. Ever the fuck again, bro. I won't hesitate to block you again. You're unblocked, realist one. You're wondering when you're gonna get you want to see my O face? My O face, my O face, I love that. You don't recognize your favorite flat earther? Hey, what's up, Daniel? I love you, brother. What's up, homie? Hey, Daniel, why does the sunlight hit the tops of the trees in the morning first? Why is that? Why does the sun only hit the tops of the trees in the morning first, Daniel, can you tell me that? Why does the sunlight only hit the tops of the trees, not the whole tree? They're not bathed in light. As the sun rotates over the flat earth and the sun bathes the entire tree with light as it comes over, why does only the tippy top of the tree light up? Isn't that kind of weird? It's almost as if there's something blocking light from the rest of the tree. I don't know. It's almost as if it's like the horizon blocking the sun from the rest of the tree and not the tip of the tree. Isn't that weird, Daniel? Oh, Daniel, can someone please explain that to me? Why does sunlight only hit the tops of the trees in the morning, Daniel? Tell me this, Daniel. Daniel tunes in at just the right time. Daniel, can you explain to me this picture? Explain to me that picture, Daniel. Why is only the top of that tree lit up, Daniel? If the sun is coming from the sky in a circle and it's rotating around and if the top of the tree is lit up, why isn't the rest of the tree lit up, Daniel? Why isn't the rest of that tree lit up, Daniel? Why is only the top of that tree lit up, Daniel? Why isn't the bottom of the tree lit up, Daniel? Why aren't there any other trees that are taller that are just as tall as that lit up, that are shorter than that one lit up, Daniel? Explain that, Daniel. Daniel, why, if that sun is as close as you say, okay, Why is only the top of that tree lit up? And look. Why is the top of that tree that's higher up on the mountain, only that tree is lit up and the one in front of it isn't lit up? Why, Daniel? Come on, Daniel. Daniel, why is that tree that's higher up on the mountain up by my neighbor's house, why is that tree lit up in sunlight while the trees down lower on my property are in shade, Daniel? Why isn't that? Why is that? It's almost as if there's something flat, right, that the sun's coming up over like the fucking earth, like it's fucking the goddamn horizon line as it rises over that. Oh, it's clouds? What about on the days when there's no clouds in the sky, Daniel? What about when there's no clouds in the sky, Daniel? You don't even make sense, brother. I love this guy to death. I love him so much. I would fucking kill any of you if you ever did anything to my friend. I love this guy. But answer my fucking question, Daniel! Answer my question, Daniel. Why is the tippy top of that tree in the background lit up? And none of the other trees are lit up yet, Daniel. Isn't that weird, Daniel? Isn't that weird, Daniel? Why is that, Daniel? I don't know when the pic was taken. I do. It's when the sun, just as it was coming up over the horizon, Daniel. That's when it was taken. I took it in the morning. I took that picture in the morning as the sun was rising. As the earth was rotating and exposing more of the planet to the sunlight that was 90 or 80 million miles away, bro. Your answer to my question does not satisfy me. It does not make sense. Your answer does not make sense, Daniel. Your answer that it was a cloudy day does not make sense. You're saying that the clouds are lower than the sun, bro? Right? You're saying the clouds are lower than the sun and the sun is hitting those clouds, right? Then where are they? Why can't we see them in the sky? Where are the magic clouds? How does that even work? How does a cloud do that? Wow, look at the sky on that day, Daniel. Tell me where the clouds are. Show me the clouds. Show me clouds, Daniel. Clouds? Show me clouds. Show me clouds, Daniel. Where's the clouds? I'm looking. I want to see clouds in the sky. I still don't see any clouds. Clouds? Do you see any clouds, Daniel? All I see is sunlight coming over the horizon line, hitting a tree, lighting the tree up that's higher up in the air than the other trees because that tree's altitude is higher because it's higher up on the mountain. Where's the clouds? Where's the clouds, bro? Where's the clouds? Multiple photographs, bro. At different angles, all at the same time. I don't see a single cloud in the sky, bro. And I'm looking really hard. Clouds? No clouds. This is not demonstrating the blue sky very well. Here. There you go. No clouds. Zero clouds, bro. None. On these hot ass days, there's no clouds. The sun comes in at an angle. There are plenty of days with clouds on one side of the sky. Bro, there's no clouds. This is several sides of the sky. You can see I actually took pictures in different trees. You can see I covered the whole sky, man, from the backyard. There's no clouds. And the sun is coming up. The sun's coming up over there. And I'm taking the picture this way towards the sun. These pictures are taken towards the sun. You realize that, right? Hey, Daniel, the Earth's a big ball, and you're on it, bro. Spinning around every day. Spinning another fucking revolution, brother. You're on it. You can't deny it. You're on it. And it's a globe, and it's spinning. The satellites that my phone is literally bouncing off of right now prove it, bro. The satellites that I go outside and watch, you think that technology is suppressed by millions of people in the industry? You're psychotic. You're psychotic. Research, my friend. I love you, Daniel. I love you. There's no clouds in the sky, brother. And there's we're on a big globe, and you know that when you say it's flat, you lose your friends, bro, because they think you're fucking crazy. Listen, Daniel, I love you, brother. I love you like a brother. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You're disillusioned like a fucking cult member, bro, like this guy was. You're disillusioned. You've been lied to. Okay? You're listening to Eric DeVay, who gets fucking destroyed by Simon Dan, and Professor Dave Explains like nothing. Bro, don't send me any links, Daniel. Daniel, do not send. I know that the Earth's a globe, bro. I know the Earth's a globe. You know, ask Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Richard Branson. All three of them just had to master the science to go up into orbit. You know, part of that science depends on the fact that the Earth is a globe, bro. So that's the science that they relied on. And it wasn't just NASA, bro. It's 3 other companies, brother. And then there's all the other countries that are going to the moon now. Israel and India and Japan and China and Russia. And is that NASA too, bro? Is that NASA too, bro? Oh, that's right. It's not NASA. It's the whole fucking world, man. Everybody's in on it. It's a whole goddamn world now. Oops. Bro, I just prove you 1,000,000 times. I'll turn you on to a Simon Dan or Professor Dave Explains, and they will fucking destroy you, bro. They will destroy you. And your whole line of thinking is why you're having a hard time having a lot of friends, Daniel. I'm telling you, people think you're fucking crazy because you think the Earth is flat. Drop that shit, man. You're wrong. Okay? Hey, and guess what, Daniel? You've been wrong about shit before, man. My goddamn deck is sagging out there, bro. The deck that you were going to fix for me? Yeah, well, this is how much science you fucking used on my deck. It's sagging down again, bro. I got to get it fixed again, man. Right? That's your fucking science, Daniel. Man, Mark came over and looked at what you did. He said, man, who fucking left this beam like that with this bracket on there? I'm like, Flat Earth Daniel did. He's like, say no more. Whoever this little 2Truth Fox 82 is, yeah, no, actually, I'm a block cunt. You got me wrong. Bye-bye. 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 Blocked for 5 minutes and blocked. Oh, ba-pow. Ba-pow. The chat was moving so fast. That was awesome. I love it. Same. Okay, Flat Earth is no different than the Bigfoot shit. Same. Denying science because they're bored and too lazy to read. Round. If the Earth is flat, why is Nay's deck round? We've never been to the moon. Watch a documentary called Astronauts Gone Wild. Danimal, I love you, bro. Of course we've been to the moon. Bro, we went to the moon before you were born, and that's why you don't like it. You weren't alive when we went to the moon, bro. You weren't alive. I was. I was a little baby. My dad took me outside and held me like this, and we watched the rocket go up to the sky, man. We watched it with my mom and my sister. We literally, and then we went back inside and watched it on TV. It's one of my first memories. I was like 1.5 years old, bro, and I remember that shit. It's one of my first memories. You know my first words were? Look at the moon. My first words were a phrase. 4 words. My first word was 4 fucking words. Look at the moon. You know, I bet your first words were ba ba, you know, or some shit that didn't make sense. I had to jump on you when I was fucking out the womb, son. That fucking cunt that came in here and called me something about raging or whatever. What's fucking hilarious about that is they don't know how much I love Daniel. I'm just fucking off. He knows it. Daniel's having so much fun right now because he knows me in person. International Space Station is live on YouTube. No, that's all CGI video, bro. Right, Daniel? Right? The International Space Station live on YouTube right now. That's all CGI video. Danimal, that is really a movie. Seriously, if the Earth was flat, gravity would be too, so Nay's deck wouldn't sag in a round formation. It would settle flat as a ball. Yeah, Daniel. Daniel, if there's no gravity, it's buoyancy and you said, what did you tell me? It's density and buoyancy. Well, come fix the density and buoyancy on my sagging deck, Daniel. Oh, and by the way, I'm still picking up the rusty nails you left around my fucking jacuzzi area, bro. Thanks for that, too. You guys want to see all the rusty hardware that Daniel left around my goddamn jacuzzi? I saved it all. It's more than a handful, Daniel. So if your work is any kind of a commentary on your belief system, bro, I wouldn't fucking be trusting your belief system for shit. And I definitely wouldn't be hosting a party and having 20 people standing on that goddamn deck right now. Dude, I'm just shredding Daniel. It's a personal attack. I shouldn't be attacking him personally. But I'm pissed about the deck. I am pissed about that shit. I'm pissed about the fucking rusty hardware. And I'm pissed about the fact that bitch is sagging again. I'm not pissed at you, bro. I want you to know I'm just joking around about being mad at you over it. I know you tried and you had your friend here, your two friends, and you guys, you did the best you could and you fixed it for then and it worked for a while. But, you know, over time it's sagging again. I keep my grill right there on the corner, so there's a little weight right there. But at the same time, I am pissed that the deck wasn't constructed properly in the first place, and that's not your fault. You know, there was rot in that beam. That's not your fault, Daniel. You fixed that. You cut that off. You put the new beam on there. You painted it and shit. You know, you did a lot of good. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Daniel did some really good over here. Besides that, he's done a lot of other really good things for me. He knows that. But just so everybody knows, I mean, that rusty hardware shit, though, bro, that's for real. You left that shit all, or you guys pulled those rusty nails out and you just threw them down on the ground. You didn't come back with a magnet or nothing, bro. I raked up my pebbles the other day in that area. I couldn't believe how many rusty nails were down there. I was like, man, somebody could have really gotten fucked up. I know, tetanus shots, right? Here, so Enoch, listen to what this guy has to say.
No, I read that. I committed it to memory because it absolutely fit with what happened.
And can I just say, his wife, Morgan Fairchild, who is very beautiful and loves him very much, and which he has sex with all of the time. Does anybody get that reference?
Happened here, and I'm just going to give you one more parable, if you will, before we talk about April 19th. I'm a big fan of George Orwell's Animal Farm. I'm very happy to see that it is now a TNT movie, and I'm really looking very forward to seeing that. But if those of you that are familiar with the story will know that the pigs... oh, that's pretty interesting equalization. That the pigs were the power structures of the farm, and the horses were the workers, and everyone had their role. And every time one of the farm animals questioned the authority of the pigs, the sheep, who weren't too bright, the sheeple, would break in to their mantra. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And the whole farm would break into this mantra.
Patrick, I'm putting that on Twitter. Thank you so much, Patrick Baker. I'm putting that on Twitter right now. Thank you so much for that, man. That is so nice of you to say that. Thank you.
And they would forget the question. They would forget to question the pigs and question authority, because the whole world's saying 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And the FBI, over the course of 51 days, every single day consistently, federal agents good, Branch Davidians bad. Federal agents good, Branch Davidians bad. And the entire nation joined in. You know, and it's a shame, because I feel that we have the greatest country on the face of the earth. I feel that Americans are incredibly industrial. I mean, we've done so much to advance technology and to advance this world that we're not smart enough to say, I mean, there should have been someone that said stop. That was Janet Reno's job. She said stop. You know, these people may be strange, you know, but there's 2 factions here.
Listen, Enoch, to what he's saying. These people may be strange.
And there's kids involved. Which brings me back to my original point. In Waco, the rules of engagement, when they go in and they show the negotiators, you get a picture of what they called the compound, what I called my home. They get a picture of Mount Carmel. They get a picture of David Koresh, and the whole mental attitude was, that's the criminal. This is the enemy. We need to get him. They should have had pictures of Serenity Jones and Joseph and Isaiah and Startle and Cyrus and the kids that were in that building. That negotiator's house and the tactical commander's houses should have been lined up with the pictures of these kids, and the attitude should have been...
They murdered all of those people, and he knew all of them, man. They were his family. Realize that what this guy is saying, okay? No matter what his belief system is, he's a human being, you guys.
This is an innocent child. We need to do whatever it takes to get them out of there. And if it means speaking Koresh's language and not, you know, chastising him in the media and getting 2 theologians in that are willing to work with us, like James Tabor and Phil Arnold, who Koresh wanted to get his manuscript out to, then that's what we got to do. I think it's unfortunate that in such a brilliant nation that the ball was dropped, that we lost sight of that, that people are dead now because of it. You know what, I'm not going to talk about April 19th because I want to open up to questions. I know we're running out of time, and I know that someone's going to ask me about it, so we'll get into some really juicy stuff there.
Someone thinks it's a good idea over there to have a flickering picture over there at YouTube. Some engineer thinks that's a good idea to have a flickering picture.
It's going to go national, so if you have a good question, stand up and face the camera and make sure everyone can hear you. Yes, sir.
The point you just made about the protection of the children, shouldn't that have been a two-way street? I mean, shouldn't the rights of the children been, or the obligation of protecting the children been considered from the Davidian standpoint as well, in terms of
good point.
Maybe we should drop this. Maybe we should put the children's safety ahead of our principles.
It's a good point.
Go ahead and surrender for the sake of the children.
In their minds, that home was the safest place for those children. That's where their parents were. And that's where their school was, and what the fuck were they supposed to do? Send the kids off to fucking, you know, to foster homes?
That's a very interesting question. It's a very deep question. I know it's one that most Americans had on their minds during the course of the 51 days. There's a couple things that I think you need to understand. Number one is when a tank drives through your living room, you tend not to go out to those people that are assaulting you. When they start setting up speaker systems, you know, you tend to incorporate as a group and say, this is my family. But I think the more important issue is that 18 people, including men, women, and children, did exit during the 51 days when negotiations were going good. And Koresh had one negotiator he liked a lot, and he kept asking for him. They pulled him off. And he's basically a Christian guy. He wanted to help. He really did. And Koresh had a great deal of respect for him. They pulled him off during the course of 51 days. He went through, I think it was 19 different FBI negotiators. You can't establish a rapport. You can't build a relationship with someone while that's going on.
19 different negotiators. Why didn't they show that in the movie on Netflix? They could have done that in 19 seconds. They could have done that scene in 19 seconds. Literally, 1 second per negotiator, and ended on the 20th second on the last one, and kept going with the movie. And they chose to not show you so people like Enoch would believe the narrative that these were bad people.
So when those 18 children, well, men, women, and children, several of them children, exited the building, one of the things that they did is They left with some of the parents stayed in, some of them didn't. The kids that exited left with very specific instructions. We had very specific dietary rules. We didn't want our kids out eating candy bars and running around like kids of the world, if you will. We believed that.
Wow, they didn't want their kids eating sugar. What do you know? What do you know? Don't eat fucking sugar. Oh, I get to show my belly again. I get to show my belly again. What? Ladies? There's some muscles going on right there. There's some muscles going on right there. What? They didn't want their kids eating sugar. They must be crazy.
You know, according to our scriptures, there's a certain way these kids should be raised, and that's how they were raised. You know, and they were all incredible children.
They were probably the healthiest kids in all of Texas, not eating sugar. Nobody shows their bellies anymore, pal. Unreal, says Enoch. Jackie, you like that? You see that? I'm telling you guys, the fat's coming off, the muscles are increasing. You can see this exercise I do, right? You could just start up here too, you know? Here. Lost a load of weight. Congratulations. It's not easy. John C. Flaherty Jr. Yeah, it is easy. It's really easy. You're lying to my whole audience saying it's not easy in all caps. That's bullshit, bro. It's been so easy. It's been the easiest thing I've ever done that was worth anything in my entire life. This is way easier than anything else I've ever done. This is easier than learning how to play guitar or piano. This is easier than learning how to grow fucking cannabis. It took me, it's still learning that shit. No, this is way easy. Are you fucking kidding me, John? It's not easy in all caps. Please.
Very bright. They helped each other.
It's easy.
They could sit still.
That's why I show you guys how fucking easy it is.
Wreak havoc. So the point I want to make here is that the FBI sent us in a videotape.
I need to breathe.
And in the videotape, they had the kids drinking soda pop, eating candy bars, watching movies that maybe the mothers wouldn't have.
Okay, I'll breathe.
Remained inside, and the fathers remained inside. We're very upset about this videotape, and they called the FBI.
Thank God Billy is here. He's going to get this reference. Hey, Billy, his wife's coming on later. Wait till you hear her side of shit. Morgan Fairchild, who is very beautiful, and his wife, whom he has sex with very, very often. Let me know if you get the reference, Billy. Nobody fucking else did. I've done it. That's the third time now in the show that I've done that.
Through the only one phone line that we had. And they said, you guys are going expressly against the rules that we set out when we sent our children out. I don't want my kids raised that way. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? That's number one. Number two, I spoke to a woman. Her name was Julie Martinez, who became a very, very close friend of mine. And Julie had several children that died in there.
Yeah.
She had...
Yeah, of course. Of course, John Lovitz from Saturday Night Live. They called him the compulsive liar or something liar. And he used to always lie about his wife, Morgan Fairchild. You see that he looks like John Lovitz, right? That's the joke. He looks like John Lovitz. Nobody else got it, Billy. Nobody else got it. He looks just like John Lovitz, by the way. Todd. Mutton chops.
5 kids that died, and she died as well.
Look, he's even got...
And Julie came to me one night during the siege in tears.
He's even got the fucking 1990s wings, bro. He's got the fucking John Lovitz fucking wings.
I said, what is wrong? She goes, I just got off the phone with the FBI, and they made it sound like if I were to leave here, and I don't know what words the FBI used with her, but I know her reaction. I know she was in tears, and she said, they made it sound like if I were to leave this building, I would never see my kids again. They made me feel so cheap. and degrading and dirty for even being there with David and the people in the midst of the siege. So you got
Hey,
parents
man.
that have a...
When this was going on, I remember thinking those were really bad people in there. I remember watching on TV and going, that's a cult. They're really bad. That's what they were saying. They were really bad people and that they had children in there and they weren't letting their children out. That fucking narrative, dude. They were just spinning bullshit.
That believe they're never going to see their kids again, and maybe it is a selfish thing, but when it comes down to a mother and a child, that's a very strong dynamic, and that's a lot of the reasons why people stayed in. And incidentally, the kids were placed in the only area we had left to go. That was it. Most of the kids were at the back of the building in the concrete structure, and they were placed under wet blankets. Now, I've had federal authorities say, well, they were placed under the wet blankets, to make it look like you guys weren't committing suicide. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. They had no place to go. The back on April 19th was cut off. The media wasn't allowed back there for some mysterious reason. According to the infrared videotape that's on Waco, the Rules of Engagement, and I cite this in my book, several gunshots were going off at the back of the building near the tanks. Now, people want to ignore this. People want to say that I'm crazy and I'm some kind of conspiratorial nut for saying this.
Right now, listen to this. You tell me where in the story on Netflix they played this part. Listen to how fucking sick this is.
I've seen the video. You can go rent it at Blockbuster. We have 2 explosions at the back of the building 6 minutes before the fire begins. We also have several rounds of fully automatic weapons, according to Edward Allard, I believe his name is. He was one of the gentlemen that holds patents on the infrared video technology. He says this is absolutely fully automatic weapons fire. Nothing in nature makes this thermal signature. And you can see these little flashes going off. 2 different areas. And the most amazing thing to me is as the fire is building, you see the flashes back up. You see the flashes go from the forefront closer to the building and start backing up as the fire is increasing. I wish I were making it up. But I'm not. It's.
I have a question.
He spoke about it before, and I'm going to tell you guys it's pretty fucking sick. When the fucking, I don't even want to tell you guys this because it's so horrible, but they don't tell you anything about the dogs in the movie. There's no mention of any animals at all, right? Well, they had a pen full of big dogs in the back, a family of dogs and shit. And the DEA, those shots, the very first shots you heard, they went back there and they shot their fucking dogs, man, that were penned up in a chain link area. And they shot and killed the fucking dogs. And Netflix doesn't even show you that shit. And he's like, nobody wants to talk about that.
That is, that it seems to me
This only has 1.14 million views, guys. That's fucking pathetic.
that every action that the FBI took was directed at the children. In other words, when they introduced CS into your Mount Carmel, and this was discussed in the joint congressional hearings, they targeted the children. They targeted the children with the idea that their mothers would try to save them and rush out. They also knew that every adult had a gas mask, but gas masks are not made for children because they don't work. The lungs are not strong enough. Another area of targeting the children, I think, was the so-called psychological ops program where they showed the
What's the
bright
question?
lights and the loud music and the other.
What's the question, man? You fucking conspiracy nut. What's the fucking question?
Unusual sounds. Now they claimed that David Koresh was brutalizing, in fact beating, quote, beating the children, is what Janet Reno told us. She was
Beating babies was the
beating babies. And I think all of us can understand that if someone is susceptible to violence, then under stress, he he's likely to engage in more violence. So these psychological operations, again, would target the babies and make them be beaten more by Mr. Koresh. So do you think that the FBI had any concern for the children as they claimed they had?
Not according to the actions, and that's such a great point. I'm so glad you brought that up. During the course of the 51 days, playing this music, I mean, I'm a pretty peaceful person. And there was one time during the siege where it was annoying me to the point, because when you're tired, you put in earplugs, you can sleep, through just about anything. I mean, it's amazing how the human spirit can adapt.
Wow.
We're very adaptable. Kids aren't so adaptable. Kids are adaptable, but it will definitely affect children more so than it would adults. One of the things that just is absolutely shocking to me is the fact that they would use these psych-ops on the kids. But more importantly is people have to understand about the CS gas that they use, the tear gas that they chose to use. Internationally, and I've done a little research on the subject, internationally you cannot use CS gas in wartime. It is banned. Use it against American citizens.
Wow.
According to the Dow Chemical Report on CS gas, it says that CS gas is a riot control agent that is only to be used outdoors in an outdoor riot control situation, never to be used indoors, especially, it says, amongst women and children, especially children whose respiratory tracts are not fully developed. It could kill them. Failure Analysis, who's a scientific organization, they did a report on the CS gas in the form, throughout the course of the 6 hours of April 19th, how much gas they put in there. In some areas of the building, they put in CS gas that was 4 times the amount needed to deter a trained soldier, let alone what that will do to a little baby. Boy, I don't want to lose my next point. This CS gas to me, was one of the most barbaric things you could ever experience. I mean, I can't believe that they could use that. And Joyce Sparks, who was the individual who was in charge of the state investigation against Koresh and the child abuse issues, had come out to the property with the sheriff's department. And Koresh knew Jack Harwell, the sheriff of Waco. We had worked with law enforcement in the past. We invited the ATF. We didn't go looking for them. They made it sound like we went looking for them, like we had some plan. She said in an interview that she urged the FBI not to do the CS gas plan, to wait them out on the 7C manuscript, urged them, and said, well, basically, should I get my team ready? And they said, no, don't worry about it. One time, don't worry about it. What were they planning? One time during the negotiation, they were asking how many fire extinguishers we had in there. And did a report, said, we have 2 fire extinguishers in the building. And the FBI negotiator said, well, it's about time you buy some fire insurance. I mean, this might, go figure. Which brings me up to my next point real quick. Another interesting, terrible tragedy that occurred a few months before our attack, and that, of course, is Randy Weaver and what happened to his family in the middle of Idaho, in the middle of the side of a mountain. And without getting too detailed, I just want you to know the mentality of these people. And this is what happened. This absolutely, it came out in the trials for his case.
Right,
His
George?
son, Sammy, thank you, was shot. His dog started barking. They went down. A marshal shot the dog. Sammy shot at the marshal. He ran back, and one of the marshals shot and killed him. The next day, Randy Weaver put his dead son in the shed next to the house and was walking to the main building, and FBI sniper Lon T. Horiuchi, who was one of the only people that has been left on the lawsuit. We have a civil case against the government. All the people we're going after has been thrown off, except Lon T. Horiuchi, who was the FBI sniper that was there that day. Lon T. Horiuchi gets Vicki Weaver on his sights. Now, he starts opening up on Kevin Harris and Randy as they're running into the house. Vicki's got the door open. She's got her baby in her arms, and Lon T. Horiuchi from 200 yards away with a high-power scope shoots her in the face. She falls forward with the baby in her arms. Now, in the trials, during that particular case, it was asked, Mr. Horiuchi, didn't you know from 200 yards away that this woman had a baby in her arms? And he said, no, I thought it was a firearm. So I shot her. Now, I've talked to snipers I've talked to people that have been in the military. Anyone here in the military? Was in the military? 200 yards away. Do you know what you're shooting with a high-powered scope? That's all I want to know. Yes, you do. This gentleman's waving his head yes. There's several people from all over this country that I've spoken to have told me the same thing. He knew what he was shooting. But here's the key. The next day, they had speaker systems set up in that little debacle as well. The next
Dude,
day,
if 200 yards, he could see her face in that scope, he could definitely see what she was holding in her hands. That is so fucked up.
the negotiators or someone from the FBI got on the horn. They said, Randy, what's Vicky going to make you for breakfast this morning? I mean, that...
Yeah, Dominic, right? And we've already heard the goddamn narrative. Now let's hear it from the actual witness that was inside the fucking building living with them. All right? Let's hear it from the guy who the whole fucking movie was based on. Let's hear from that guy. All right, Dominic, shut the fuck up.
That's unfathomable to me. That our federal authorities, our servants, people that under the Constitution have taken an oath to serve the American public could do that to anybody. I don't care if he's a fascist or a racist. He has certain rights. This guy was never on trial. I don't want to get too far off. I just want you to realize that this kind of stuff happened to us all the time during the course of the 51 days. The FBI agents would moon us. The women would be looking out of the windows and they'd be mooning us and sticking their middle finger up at us.
I mean, it's just, I'm so sick of anybody just fucking coming in here and talking shit. Two sides to each story. Hey, bro, you're defending the goddamn United States federal government, Dom? That's not a fucking story. It's a lie. That's not two sides. It's the government lying and the actual story from a witness. Yeah, don't fucking defend the fucking federal government, bro, please. It's not two sides. Yeah, well, shut the fuck up and listen then, Dom. Don't say two sides to each story. Fucking be quiet and listen then, man. Or contribute something that's worth contributing, man. Please.
Federal government? Yes, sir.
Everybody, including Enoch, has already heard all the fucking lies. All right? I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. Two sides my dick.
Before all the troubles and the siege began, describe a typical day. What did you do? Were you happy there? What were some of the do's and don'ts, rules and regulations before all the troubles began?
Great question. In my book, a place called Waco, I spent a lot of time on these issues because humanly you go through a lot of mixed emotions.
Right? So not only was he there, and I guess this was in what year did you say this was? 96 that this occurred, right? Not only did this happen in 96, and he's recounting these events in 99, just a few years after them, but in between then and this time that we're watching this video, he wrote a whole fucking book about it. So he wrote a book, he interviewed people, he researched shit, he went over his thoughts, he made fucking notes, he compared them with other people, I'm sure. This is a very thorough and together individual, obviously. Even though his wife is Morgan Fairchild, and she is his wife. Understand, consider the source. Consider the source, okay? Especially when you hear how he met David Koresh and how he got involved in the whole thing. He's a Christian, man. He was into the Bible. He was a Christian. He was into the Bible, and he was a musician,
You go a lot of the things where I questioned a lot of the things that were going on in there. But basically I understood one thing, some of the stuff that occurred there was a part of the plan, and I accepted it. Generally, we would play music or build. We spent most of our days building and beautifying the property. We didn't do that because we were planning on committing a mass suicide. We had put in the tracks, we were building up the house, we had built a pool for ourselves.
See, it wasn't a suicide cult, so he's making that clear. We weren't planning on killing ourselves. We were making a nice, beautiful resort kind of area for us and the kids. Place to grow, nice.
And most of the times were spent working, and in the evenings we would study. We had 3 square meals. Some of the women would prepare, and we would all come in and eat together. And the studies usually occurred in the evening. That was your basic life. There were periods of time where we would watch movies. Everything was on occasion. There were times when
let's do a dab.
Ice cream. There was times.
Cheers, guys. Quarter of the hour.
And everyone in the community had a burger. But basically, people stayed.
A burger.
They believed David Koresh was inspired. I believe David Koresh was inspired. And basically, we spent our lives learning this truth because, according to the truth, and if you get into this very deeply in the book, according to the truth, this group was going to be targeted and was going to be attacked. And we had prepared for that. At the same time, Rush did everything humanly to try to avoid the situation. He also believed there was another plan.
Hear that, Enoch?
And that plan could go forward with music, and he could reach the world that way.
Try to do everything to
So it's
avoid
kind of
that
confusing, it's
situation.
holistic. And that was one of the hard things
Mutton
in writing the book.
chops.
It took me several years to even
He went with
conceive
mutton
writing this
chops.
book because I thought it was such a complicated subject.
Cheers,
I thought
guys.
There was no way I could explain my experience. I still think to this day there's aspects of the truth that I don't even get into. I did not want to get into David's scripture in this book because I don't believe that that's my role or that I'm inspired to do that. So I'm trying to tell the story from my experience without getting to the hardcore belief of why we were there. And that's what's very difficult for me in writing this book. And, I think it's something that can be researched. There are some of the Davidians that have written down their version of the Seven Seals. And anyone that's interested can look that up on websites. I couldn't quote the site right now, but I didn't feel it was my role. But what I did feel was that, we were out there studying, we were out there living, and we bothered no one for 60 years.
Were you free to leave, to go to a movie, to go on a date, to go to the mall, drive to Dallas or Houston?
If you really wanted to, everyone's always free to leave. That's part of your free moral agency as a person. I mean, generally the group did things together, and the group didn't really depart from that. Considering that we were one body, according to several scriptures, if one person does something that's against the basic rules of the community, it affects the entire community.
Oh, that's
And so
tasty.
living under that structure, yes,
Tasty
it was
flavors.
a rigorous structure, and yes, it was a very monastic lifestyle, but at the same
Monastic.
time, it's a lifestyle that everyone chose to live.
I don't know what monastic
And I could
means.
have left at any time. But consciously in my head, I did not feel that I would be doing the right thing. I don't think that I could have been left David to do my own.
Steve Hollowell says, not really. I don't know what you're saying not really to. You say the same shit the news says. Very often I do. Very often I do report the news from the AP, CNN, Fox, podcasters. I absolutely say the same shit you will hear on the news. The one thing you won't hear is my awesome fucking commentary on their programs. You'll only hear my awesome commentary here, Steve Hollowell. Thanks for giving me the leg up, bro.
My own thing in life. And I felt that I could look at myself in the mirror. And I read several books on psychology and social proof and combating mind control, and I saw all kinds of different literature that's out there. I think that for me, I just made the decisions I had to make in life. That I was put here for a reason, to go through this experience for a reason.
Do you think you'd still be there if the troubles haven't started?
The question was, do I think I still be there if the troubles haven't started? I can't.
Man, that's what I said. He might not have been there, but the Branch Davidians would still be there, and it would probably be a beautiful fucking thing by now. Who knows what they would have achieved, Who knows? They were awesome people, man. When you hear this from the beginning, you'll hear about all the people that were in there and how awesome they all were. It's so sad, man. Hey, did you guys know that 1/3 of the residents at Waco were black? Did you guys know that? African Americans, 1/3 of them.
I don't know. I think I might, but I also think maybe 20 years down the road, I don't know if I could have curbed my humanity that much. I'm not a saint. I'm a sinner like the rest of us. I think there were people there that were close to saintliness. I can't answer that question. It's something that was an experience that I took day by day. Yes, sir.
Alex Jones, a local radio talk show
Oh,
host,
yeah, he's talking about me here.
Issue Alive too.
Excellent.
Long before this latest.
This is 1999.
Coming out.
I was very
He's
serious
getting an
back then.
effort right now to rebuild the church on the property up there. Do you have anything to do with that, or are you planning on going back? And who owns that property now?
Great question. I'm glad you brought that up. Something that I was going to get into. But the rebuilding of the church on the ground where all these people died and all these atrocities took place, I think it's a beautiful thing. And the fact that so many Texans...
What a fucking nugget of information I just found on this fucking 2016 upload from a 1999 video. What was it that who was that said that? Steve Hollowell? What was it you said? I say the same shit the news says. Yeah, you see this one on the news? Tell me which news program you saw this one on, where he talks about Alex Jones. Tell me which news program you saw this on, you fucking cuck bitch.
Due to Alex Jones and due to people that do care.
Yeah,
they were lied to.
you want to look at our products for sure.
Not
Infowars.com,
only donated their
prisonplanet.com.
materials
We
and-
donated a lot.
and money
We're gonna
make
put this
project
church
happen,
together.
but they've donated their time.
Yes.
They've come out on
We're working
Sundays,
hard.
and they've helped to rebuild this church so we can have a standing monument, a sanctuary.
That's nice, man.
Out there,
Alex,
not only for
Alex
people
Jones.
to study, but as a symbol that the human spirit will endure, and we are adaptable. And as long as you hold on to your purpose in life or your sight, you don't lose touch with that, with what you consider to be God, and what you consider to be right for you, that you can overcome. You know, those people didn't die in vain, and I think it's just so amazing to me, especially in Texas here, because I mean, how much demonization was there here in this state during the whole thing? I mean, I came out of there, and I remember standing in front of the grand jury, and I felt mentally raped. The last thing I wanted to do was stand before 18 people that lived in Waco, that looked at me like I was the biggest freak they ever saw in their life, and didn't believe a word I said. That was the most uncomfortable situation I've ever been. I've been CS gassed, and that was a little more uncomfortable than the CS gas, frankly.
And I got to tell you, man, I believe this guy. I listen to this guy, and I'm really good at just listening to people and judging character. I think I'm a really good judge of character. First time I heard Vouch, I was like, no. I listened to this guy, and I was fucking riveted. And I was riveted because he's fucking telling a personal, honest account. You know, he's being honest. And that just comes out in somebody, you know. When someone's being honest with you, you can feel it, man. You hear it in the way their voice is conveying the message. You see it in their body language. You see it in their eyes. And you can sense it, man, you know.
So it's incredible that people have come forward, and every Sunday they go out there and build. It should be done the next couple months. And if anyone that would like information on the building of the structure, they can go to www.infowars.com to get that information.
You know,
And
you're
also-
going to want to go to you're definitely going to want to go to infowars.com, like my friend and fellow survivor here from Waco is definitely telling you. You're going to want to check out Infowars.com. You're probably going to want to check out PrisonPlanet.com as well, too.
Alex Jones and due to people
You know, this is a great shout-out for the show here. We're going to go ahead and zoom in on this.
Not only donated their materials.
This is very important. Our products are the best products on the internet. You're not going to find water filtration any better.
On Sundays.
You know, our Super Male Vitality product,
Build this church so we can
only
have
at
a
half
monument,
strength. It is so ultra-potent.
out there, not
So
only for the people to
ultra-potent.
study, but as a symbol that the human spirit will endure, and we are adaptable. And as long as you hold on to your purpose in life or your sight, you don't lose touch with that, with what you consider to be God and what you consider to be right for you, that you can overcome. You know, those people didn't die in vain, and I think it's just so amazing to me, especially in Texas here, because I mean, how much demonization was there here in this state during the whole thing? I mean, I came out of there, and I remember standing in front of the grand jury, and I felt mentally raped. The last thing I wanted to do was stand before 18 people that lived in Waco, that looked at me like I was the biggest freak they ever saw in their life, and didn't believe a word I said. That was the most uncomfortable situation I've ever been. I've been CS gassed, and that was a little more uncomfortable than the CS gas, frankly. So it's incredible that people
Cheers to
come
that,
forward,
Enoch.
come forward, and every Sunday they go out there and build. It should be done the next couple months. And if anyone that would like information on the building of the structure, they can go to www.infowars.com to get that information, and also www.rebuildthechurch.com, and that's one word. And I just really appreciate everything that everyone's done. One of the goals I have for my website, which is a place called waco.com, is to put the CS Gas report and put all this information, the warrant on there, so people can read it for themselves. But also, and I should have done this years ago, and frankly, I was not proactive.
Why don't you talking about the news now, not the old shit, Eddie Luke? Because this is about today. This is about American imperialism. This is them practicing imperialism on their own fucking people, bro. Do you understand, Eddie? This has everything to do with today. I'm sorry that you didn't pick up on that, brother, but I tried to make that clear before when I literally said it's amazing what this guy says and how pertinent it is to today. It's almost as if he was propheticizing. Propheticizing, is that the right word? Propheticizing. He's like a fucking prophet, bro. He's talking about the government and how you have no recourse. When the government wants to clamp down on you, they create their own narrative. And then all the Enochs of the world, all of the people out there that hear that narrative, they subscribe to it. The news tells them that and reinforces it. And people think that the Branch Davidians were fucking psychos that were abusing their children. You know, they were doing crazy shit or whatever the fuck.
Before. It took me a lot of time to go through everything that I had to go through in this and then finally come out on the point where I could say, okay, let's take them on. You know, it's gone far enough. If my friends are in jail, I could be in jail. Not that I did anything wrong, but I could be in jail just for political reasons. And I want someone out there fighting for me. So what I want to do is start a petition to get the guys out of jail. I mean, come on, people. You know, we can let terrorists go and free them for political reasons, but 7 innocent people that are in jail, and the jury, you know, I'm sorry, Mr. Establishment, Mr. Clinton, Mr. FBI, whoever wants to criticize me on this one, the jury said if they had seen all the evidence that the judge had suppressed from them, everyone would be released. Everyone wants a retrial. You know, people like Edward Allen Stone want a